Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 47 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source for enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice. Listen in the description below. I'm your host, GM, and overseer of Podcast of Five Rings, Obsidian, joined tonight by the resident wildcard, Mao.
Yo.
You're going first, finally. Well, I mean, you've gone first a few times in the roll call. I'm just plugging you again here.
Just spin a little bit.
The wall that will not fall, Tetsuo.
Hi.
Hello. And the Dark Fortune Duelist Meta is not here. Yeah,
Tasty food.
Yeah, he's off trying food for his wedding. So, damn that man. He's so lucky. Yeah, I'm starving. Still tell you how my week. I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for work today. I've had short lunches all week because work has been complete hell. I've had to work 2 hours of overtime every day. I had to come in an hour early and leave an hour late.
I haven't been working at all this week.
Yeah, it's 10-hour days, but it's not that bad. It could be worse.
I took the whole week off and have lost my sense of time slightly.
Mao is lost in the ether.
Thursday.
It's like, oh yeah. We didn't really talk about topics either. I was freaking busy all day, so I didn't have much time to goof off in Discord. Or with other things. I had time to eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And drown in boxes and boxes of footwear. So what have you been doing with your week off?
I've been watching old anime.
Oh baby.
Playing old RPGs.
Oh baby.
I've been playing through Breath of Fire 4 again.
Yeah, we were talking about Breath of Fire, I think, while we were playing Pokemon last week, so...
Probably. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think Breath of Fire 4 is my favorite.
Yeah, 3 is the general consensus, is the best one that a lot of people talk about.
Yeah, it's really good too.
Yeah. It's the only one I've actually beaten. What about you, Tets? What have you been doing?
What's my favorite one of those? I don't know. I haven't played them.
No, what have you been doing with your week? Other than making corned beef, or wanting to make corned beef.
Actually, my buddy made corn. So this weekend, I'm just going to tell everybody because it sounds amazing and I'm so excited. My buddy's coming over and we're gonna watch Pacific Rim and then go see Pacific Rim 2 in theaters. So I'll probably talk about that next week.
There you go. I might end up going and seeing it.
But he's coming over and he did his own corned beef, but it wasn't done by last weekend when it was supposed to be. So he's going to bring it over, and while we're watching the first movie, we're going to throw it on my smoker, and we're going to do a smoked corned beef brisket.
Oh, nice.
Excited about that.
Sounds really good.
The series that I watch, the food YouTube channel, the one that they do looks amazing. I can only hope it turns out anywhere close to that.
Barbecue Pit Boys.
Yeah, I watch them way too much. I really should file them. I really should file them under the same header that Shokugeki no Soma is under for me, which is don't watch because your wallet will hate you afterwards.
Well, they actually show you how to cook on there. Shokugeki no Soma doesn't. They just pull these dishes out of their ass, basically.
I feel like that would make it more dangerous because then I'll be like, I want to try to do that with my own way, and then like I will come up with even worse stuff, and then it won't taste good. At least I know Barbecue Pit Boys is going to taste good.
Yeah, that's true.
If I do it that way, it might not taste good, and then I waste all of that.
They've never let me down. They won't let you down.
Not once.
They care about you too much. I've been playing Dragon Warrior while not suffering at work. I beat the first one, and I'm like a few hours, I think like 5 hours in the second one.
The original JRPG.
Yeah. It's a very short game. It's very dated, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of the game is where you save the princess, and then she like jumps in your arm. You have a little sprite where she's walking it, where you're carrying her around. Oh my god, The game is charming as crap. And of course, all the monster designs are classic. I'd only played through 8 before that, and I just remembered a lot of them. Was like, yeah, Akira Toriyama monster designs.
They've been using them since the beginning.
Yeah, so... And it's just interesting to play a RPG where you're like only one character, kind of.
Right, you can't die.
Yeah, lots of grinding as well.
Slimes are from that series, right? That's where Slimes are originally from. Okay.
They are adorable. So yeah, that's been my week.
I played that game too.
Man, I'm enjoying the heck out. 2 is just improves on everything too, so or at least the mechanic stuff.
And you'll get to 3, my favorite of those.
Oh baby! So we're just we're not drowning in our suffering. Well, Mao's not suffering. He's had the whole week off work. We're drowning in nostalgia. Tets is drowning in his corned beef and his thoughts of Pacific Rim. Mao and Breath of Fire, me and Dragon Warrior. So there we go.
Drowning in Pacific Rim yet. That'll be this weekend.
You're just dreaming about drowning in Pacific Rim. Your Mecha versus Kaiju, you get this.
I've also been looking at I'll talk about it in my topic, but looking at sci-fi RPGs. I know we talked about that last week, so prepping for.
He found one.
I almost said prepping for Mecha versus Kaiju, and I meant prepping for Pacific Rim. They're the same thing. Let's be honest.
All right, Mal, you're up first, so you go ahead and start with your talk.
All right. I was wondering if you guys had any sort of game or genre that you just feel like you should really be a fan of or enjoy playing, and you just can't get into it. Like maybe someone told you, like, "Hey, you should really check this out. It's your kind of thing," and you just can't make it work for you.
So I'm ready for this because I've already said it twice.
Go on, SpongeBob.
Fantasy RPGs. Like Breath of Fire, Dragon Quest. Like I want to enjoy them and I want to like them, and I know that I feel like I should, and I don't. And JRPGs, I guess turn-based JRPGs in general, but specifically those that have the fantasy flair, even Final Fantasy games,
Have you tried to play stuff like The Witcher or Dragon Age or stuff like that?
Loved The Witcher. I didn't get very far in Dragon Age. Witcher 3 I played a good amount of time on. So I don't know if it's I don't think it's the turn-basedness, because I do enjoy
strategy games or turn-based ones of those.
And some of the more recent like Digimon Cyber Sleuth, which is again a turn-based. I mean Pokemon. They're both turn-based RPGs, but those I'm fine with. And I think it has more to do with the play like the way you have to play JRPGs aren't the way that I would like to approach things, I guess. I don't know, I really don't have a reason why I don't enjoy them.
We talked about grinding before too, and you usually have to grind a little bit in JRPGs, so. And
that might be part of it, because again, like Pokemon, very quickly you tend to get overpowered, and you don't really have to grind unless you're, doing like a Nuzlocke or something.
You grind, but the grinding is a lot quicker in Pokemon than it is in other games, or so it feels like to me. Especially later on when you get EXP share and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know that I ever really, even in Pokemon, spent time okay, I gotta get up to this level before I face this gym or something.
You might grind a few levels on one guy, maybe, just because he's lagging behind. That's about it. It's never your whole party.
Yeah, I guess if you want to train up a specific Pokemon.
Trying to get them to evolve or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really think I ever did. Is what it is. Maybe it is the grind, and random encounters also kind of drive me nuts, if only because I can't count on them. But
you just gotta learn that RNG manipulation, bro.
Start
step counting.
Either if I can see them, or if it would be like every 5 steps you get, or the number essentially.
Yeah.
Not 5 steps. God,
I
that
mean,
would drive
you
me
could
nuts.
try something like the Tails, where you can see
Yeah,
enemies.
that's what I was about to suggest. I was like, you should try Tales if you want to try to get into a JRPG series, because one, the encounters aren't random. You can see them on the world map and in the dungeons, and two, it's not turn-based. It's action. It's more almost like fighting game, kind of combat, where you have combos and stuff.
There are some JRPGs that I do enjoy. It's just, I think it's the turn-based when you have to grind and tense. Like, going to use the Pokemon analogy, like whenever I'm walking through the tall grass, it's like, is something I don't want to put up with a fight right now? Is something going to happen? Oh my god! And so I kind of get like that tense bit. So sometimes it's just like I just want to get where I'm going, and I don't want to get stopped. And so I don't know, but again,
you play
like,
bravely default and turn off encounters when you don't want them.
And you can speed them up too.
Right.
Bravely default is amazing.
Because like in a lot of hack and slashes, I'll go out of my way to go make sure that I kill everything on the map. Like, I don't know.
I do that with Tails.
I can't. I don't know.
The Tails combat is so good. I love like Tails combat. I always grind way too much because I'm just like, I'm having fun killing everything. And you get your cool little skits at the end where they like banter with each other at the end of the battle, and you want to see them all. You switch around characters. I'll do the thing in Tales where I like plays the other characters too, to see if I like how any of them play.
I usually end up playing JRPGs fairly low level.
Oh no, Mal. Oh god.
Going as low as possible.
You beat Super Mario RPG at like level 3, right?
I've never played Super Mario.
Oh man, it's good. You need to play that. You need to play it. It's a classic. It's a must play, dude. It's a must play.
I don't know that I would say it's a must play. I really don't.
I would. It's good.
So are there any games you've put up for way too long with probably, Tets, that you just ended up eventually dropping? You just kept trying to make yourself play?
Final Fantasy 10 and 10 too. I got very close to the end of those. Final Fantasy Worlds recently I had gotten in GameFly, and I got a good way, not like crazily into it, but I got a good ways into it. But I recognized that I was very much like, it was like, I need to play this game so that way I can send it back to GameFly to get the next game, because I need to play the next game. Like, it was almost like it was a chore to get through it, and that's, you shouldn't play video games just because that's a chore. You should be having fun.
Should. Well, you shouldn't force yourself to try and like gameplay you don't like.
Yeah.
As well, so.
And I mean, like, to be fair, for me it is a matter of let me give it a chance, because again, I do have all of these random exceptions to the rule, so I'm always willing to give something a shot just in case. But there's
Tetsuo is the guy whose favorite Final Fantasy game is Vagrant Story.
Right now it's Final Fantasy 15, but I know a lot of people hate it. It's a horrible Final Fantasy
love 15.
game.
Those people are wrong. We've talked about this. Noctis in Tekken. He's in Tekken now. He's live. Your boy, the king, the best video game character of all time.
That's
one that I didn't play through, but I did watch through almost all of it, if not finished it. I don't remember if I finished it or not. Was Legend of Dragoon. Because that was one where I was really invested in the story of.
That's a good one.
I don't think I ever played it, but I definitely watched it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you definitely watched me play it back in the day.
Another good one would be Chrono Cross. Has not a lot of grinding at all, because you get all your important level ups from bosses. You get all your important level ups from bosses. So you literally do not have to grind at all. And it's just an amazing game.
Random confession tangent. Every time people talk about Chrono Cross, in my mind, I have to stop and think and separate it from Chrono Trigger, and then Dino Crisis always wants to throw it.
Dino Crisis.
And I have no idea why my brain is
Turok the Dinosaur Hunter.
These things.
It's because the games have dinosaurs in them. Oh my god.
I guess. I don't know.
You just love dinosaurs.
I do. I was definitely a 90s child. I loved all the dinosaurs.
For my genre, I thought I was going to go fighting games, but I think MOBAs actually are my answer. MOBAs seem like a genre of game that is completely up my alley because they look interesting when you watch people play them. They got all these cool characters and stuff like that. You got your waifus and all that good stuff, and you're like co-op, team-based, like playing with the boys kind of like feel. I think it's just more like I know I would be like a really bad scrub at them, and none of my friends have any interest in playing them. I don't just want to pick up and play with random people. And the gameplay just really doesn't seem that super interesting to me. It's more like the aesthetic of a lot of the MOBA games that I'm more into than anything. It's like all your cool ultimates and who takes the point and who's in the middle and who's back or whatever, and everybody has like a different role to play. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool, and all the moves look cool and stuff's going on, and oh god, and it's like an esport and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I've never played one. I've never gotten into one. I've had a budding interest in playing one, but again, my friends just would never play with me.
Yeah, I used to play League back, way back in the day. Now, when it first started, with a buddy. Multiplayer games for me mostly come down to, do I have friends that are playing it? If not, I don't care.
It's the same for me, basically.
Yeah.
I think I've had two MOBAs that I've really been interested in, and that is Smite, because camera angle, I feel more involved, and then I guess on the same level but not, For Honor. For Honor's a MOBA.
Yeah, kinda.
I guess. I mean, it's not. I don't think it really completely qualifies.
It has similar.
It really isn't, but it's enough where I
similar gameplay.
Yeah, it's got similarities, but it's not the traditional
The aesthetic's completely different.
Dota clone.
Yeah. It's not your push 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and have your followers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't really have a genre, I guess, so much. From one game in particular, though, is The Witcher 3. Actually,
I haven't tried to pick it up yet. I'm afraid
I love
to.
1 and 2.
And 3's supposed to be a lot different, right?
Right. One's especially dated now, but I really like 2. And then I really tried to get through 3. I don't know, something about it. I played it for a very long time, or I guess, I don't know. It's probably part of the reason why I've stopped doing side quests so much in the larger games like that. Because I took a lot of
the blame, right?
Right. I got to the island, which is the third part of the game, the third major leg of the quest. With the berserkers or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just no more. How many hours did you get into it?
I don't know. A lot. Maybe 40, probably. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look, but it was
about as much as any normal game.
Right, and I don't know how. I think I was fairly at least in the main story. I think it was getting fairly up there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, I don't know. I love the lore they use and stuff, because it's a bit more than just the known European mythology stuff.
Yeah,
some of the monsters and stuff they use. But I also just have never been super big into the gritty dark fantasy stuff.
Yeah,
especially
which it definitely is more of.
Oh yeah,
as far as I understand it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And this comes across I don't read it either. Most of the fantasy novels I read are not the dark gritty fantasy, and so that probably didn't help. But I really like 2, and just 3 I could not get through.
What is super different about 2 and 3? Because I've heard people say they're different, but
Well, 3 is open world.
Okay.
2 is not really. Like
It
it's
is
big
but
levels.
It's just smaller scale.
Way more confined. Like you go like there's the starting area, and then you end up having to travel to a whole other area, so you can't get back to the first area. Like they're not connected.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
And the combat, like I've only played 1 and 3, but and again I know 1 is much more dated, but
yeah, 1's combat is pretty awful.
it's The Witcher isn't a hack and slash. You do kind of have to think through, but it also kind of is a hack and like you could theoretically get by just button mashing, just being a little cognizant of the buttons. But in 1, the combat is so bad. Like while you might be able to do that and muddle through it, the actual mechanics that are, or I guess like the coding and stuff, it is so clunky and awkward. You really can't.
There are mods for the PC versions for at least I know 1 and 2 that make the combat better.
How's the combat like different in between 3 and 2? Because I think that's what I saw people saying, but
I think it is more streamlined from between. Like I think combat is better in 3. Like that's not a big deal for me. Like that wasn't something I didn't.
It's all the story and like the world for you, kind of.
Yeah, I think I'm just. I mean, it also. I think I just don't care for open world so much anymore.
Yep.
No, I still love Skyrim.
And Final Fantasy 15, the greatest open world game of all time. It's also the greatest fighting game, the greatest platformer. It's got platforming in it.
I mean, you can play through its Promptu story, and now it's a shooter.
Yep, it's a first-person shooter. It's a MOBA too. It's a Monster Hunter clone. It's got all kinds of stuff.
I have to stop you before I have to jump through this internet and slit a throat.
It's so many genres. That's just part of why it's the greatest game of all time. So.
Is it a racing
every
game?
Time?
You can't drive the damn car.
Go off road. You can go off road now, and you can fly it.
Yeah.
You've been able to fly it since the game came out, though, but still.
That sounds right.
Take it off road. It's actually fun to take off road. But anyways,
the upgrade to give you the big tires.
Yeah, they look goofy, and I think like even Gladiolus is like, "Oh, this looks weird" or something like that when you do it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny, but anyways. All right, let's get on to your topic, Tets. What do you got?
As I said last week, I was thinking about sci-fi RPGs and the inherent difficulties in them. We're on the podcast.
You've solved all your problems, right?
All right. So rewinding a little bit, I think I've mentioned before, I have a really huge collection of RPGs on PDF, to the point where I don't know that I will ever get to play a majority of the systems that I have bought and downloaded that are on my computer. I hope to one day, maybe monthly modules will be able to let me start whittling through them. I don't know. But two systems that I really did enjoy the concept of, and I think I mentioned them that last week, was the Fate Traveler inspired setting of Diaspora, and then Stars Without Number. I was looking through this week, and I was kind of going through some stuff, and I found out that apparently back in November, it totally slipped my attention. Stars Without Number came out with a revised edition. I'm blanking on his name now, but he provides a free copy, or there's like a free edition of both the original and this revised edition. So I went ahead and downloaded it. Cool was the way that he developed the revised edition. While it does update things and it changes some of the skills lists, and I'll get into all that here in a minute, it's still backwards compatible with books of the original Stars Without Number.
I actually haven't seen a backwards compatible tabletop role-playing game. I'm sure they're out there in decent number, but I've never actually looked at one.
Like how backwards compatible? Because like some like D&D has had like come out with guides or whatever to like these turn into this basically.
Yeah.
Almost plug and play. Like it is very close. Now some of the skills like got changed. So for example, one of the skill sets originally were for ranged combat, you had ballistics, you had energy, you had there was a third one that I'm blanking on now, and now it's just combined all into the shoot skill.
Good old Houston. as one of my buddies put down on his L5R character sheet for Q-Jitsu one time, he put Houston.
But I mean, like, but it still fits. Like it. So first off, Stars Without Number is an OGL system. It is very much supposed to be playing off of the original, like, old D&D stuff. You know, that whole retro clone feel. It has your 6 main stats that everything has: strength, con, dex, intelligence, wisdom, charisma.
Spelljammer, baby.
Yeah. But has those things, but it kind of handles them a little bit differently in the way that it gives the bonuses, which I actually kind of really like. The aren't every 2 levels you get a +1 like it is in D&D.
Yeah.
It's actually like from 0 to like 7 you have a -1, or maybe 3 to 7 you have a -1, and then from 8 to 13 you have a 0, so it's just a flat, excuse me, sorry, it's just a flat, you know, whatever, and then you have to be level stat rank of 14 in order to get your +1, and you don't get a +2 until I think it's 18 points, whatever the stat is.
Sounds closer to 2nd edition D&D.
Yeah, it kind of is. And actually so before he did this, he did another system, and I'm totally blanking on the name or even the setting, but it was much closer towards 2nd edition with its Thaco and its descending armor class and stuff. But Stars Without Number, he went back to the whole increasing AC, because I think for the most part people prefer that. I don't know. That seems to be the gaming industry standard, at least. So I assume most people prefer ascending AC as opposed to descending. I know people that will fight to the death for Thaco, but I will let them fight to the death for Thaco.
I still don't understand it.
And it's just, I don't want to have to get in that mindset, because I feel like leveling up should be going up in number.
Well, yeah, when all your other numbers are going up, and the armor's like the one thing that's different. It just confuses people.
If everything goes down or everything goes up, cool. But when you do ups and downs, but I thought, for going off the stats, where I was going with that. The question was asked of me, and it's gone.
Oh, he did Godbound.
Was the one that's
which is one my buddy is really into.
It was like, again, similar to Scion, or I guess Exalted.
Yeah, he said it was a lot like Exalted.
Yeah, you're essentially fantasy based, and you can, you know, go through apotheosis and become demigods and gods and blah 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 blah. I might pick that up at some point, and maybe we'll give a review on it one of these days. But no, with Stars Without Number, it one of the things that I do love about it and hate at the same time, it's way it handles combat is combat, do that instead.
What was that?
If you can avoid combat, do that instead. That's how it handles combat a little. I mean, not exactly, but it rewards players for not diving headfirst into, I open up the door, see enemies, and start shooting. Because it does have the lethality curve to it. Your HP is only whatever your hit die is. Level 1, 1d. I think it's a d6. D6 or d8 is flat across the board. But you add your con mod, but easily at level 1 you could be a 1, 2, 3 HP character. And as you level up, one of the things I do like about it, when you level up, rather than rolling a new d6, you actually roll 2d6 or whatever. If it's d8, then 2d8. But ends up being higher. You take that, so it does give the chance for you to possibly get like higher results for your lower levels, so to say, and then you add your con mod for each level. But
yeah,
even though it's that way, you have like weapons that are rolling 1d12s. You have weapons that are rolling 1d10s. And the idea is your people who are standing in front of laser blasts, the laser is probably gonna win. It's more true to the point than like a sword. Yeah, you might get cut in the face, cut in the arm. So it's a little more.
Yeah, it seems. I linked the TV tropes article, just skimming through some of it. Anyone can die. Stars outnumbered does not believe in softball. There are pages that recommend turning up with spare character sheets, and first level characters are likely to die in a couple of bullets.
That's the original. That isn't the revised edition. Does kind of talk about that, but it doesn't like. It says that that's something from the old one, and then it does offer. And again, this is one of the changes. It does offer a dial essentially to kind of tune it to the lethality or group one, similar to how L5R does when they talk about your Earth level wounds.
Yeah. I like the you're talking about kind of like plug and play. One note is that retro-inspired sandbox playstyles written set dungeon modules from other games can be grafted into a session in less than 20 minutes work, say by replacing orcs with Hawk Hog mercenaries and setting out a space station instead of a dungeon complex.
It's because again it is OGL, so anything that is that open gaming license can easily be slotted in or slotted out. Again, there will be some things, but even with orcs, maybe you don't even change the orcs because you've crash landed on this very primitive planet that just happens to seem like a fantasy planet.
Star Ocean now.
Exactly. No, I mean like legit, and it's if you.
No, oh my god.
What?
I gotta read this in a second. Finish your thought. This trope.
Where I'm gonna go in a minute because it's gonna be a continuation. But one of the things we talked about last week was how sometimes can be very hard. It can also be very soft and be more fantasy based. And Stars Without Number kind of gives you the option of doing both. And as a slider based off of how you want to do it, because it does also, one of the base classes is a psychic, which is just their version of wizard. And if you take their stock setting, the psychics are kind of core to the stock setting. But I'll dive further into that. I'm curious as to what you found that was so giggle-tastic.
Hyperspace is a scary place. Using spike drops is risky, so an expert with a good navigation skill is a must because, quote, you do not want to fail a navigation roll when using a spike drop. This links to the page Total Party Kill. Unless you want to end up right next to a star or stranded in space with broken life support systems.
Yes. So, one of the things I do love about Stars Without Number is the setting that it offers. It's not like... L5R or Warhammer 40k, where you have to know all of this lore to be viable. You can totally, cut out whatever you want, trash whatever you want. But one of their core way of explaining away faster than light travel isn't to say that, you suddenly have this thing that allows you to go faster than light, despite us not knowing how physics can go faster than light, blah, blah, blah. It actually... hand wavy, but it essentially puts you into a dimension that's like above the above our dimensions, and again that's where psychics kind of draw their power from, and you go through that and then you come out back, you lower through the dimensions again, come back out in ours. You can only use stars as waypoints, so it forces you to like come in or leave at the edge of the solar systems. Pretty cool. But again, like if you fail your check based off of how far you want to go, what your drive is, and what your pilot skill is of your navigators, you can very easily not shift out fast enough and shift out right when you are right on top of the star, as opposed to at the edge of the solar system.
Yeah.
So yeah. There's not really a way to save yourself there. And then again, that's one of the things that they do actually talk about, turning down the lethality if you're not interested in playing that. If you are, keep it in.
Go for it.
Also, it does the whole lost tech thing. So about it is how it does have that sliding scale, because despite all that, it does have it treats different worlds with different tech levels. And so if all of the worlds you're on are tech level, like I think it considers Earth currently if you're like playing a game where your tech level is only 1, 2, or 3, I think like it treats Earth as tech level either 2 or 3. I can't remember which one. Current day Earth, our current, living existence. So
yeah, probably
you could easily
3 makes sense. Maybe I don't know how big the scale goes though.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's like 2.5-ish. Because
1 is probably like hunter gatherer. 2 is probably like Middle Ages.
Diaspora also does this, but Diaspora has up, I think, to 7 technological levels, whereas this only has 5.
Yeah.
So the two of them are very similar, or they're similar enough where I sometimes cross them if I'm not actively looking at the book. And I'm not gonna make you guys wait and listen to my mouse wheel scrolling as I try to find the tech levels page. But it's either 2 or 3. So you could easily play without any faster than light stuff, and you could play out a story, say, akin to Leviathan Wakes. The Expanse is the sci-fi television show based off of that book series, where everything's just taking place within one solar system. You could very easily do that. Hell, you could cut it down to a single planet and just have, it sci-fi'd up, where faster than light travel happens, but there's no way your characters are ever going to be able to get involved with it. It was designed from the ground up to be a sandbox RPG. Going to our previous thing about open world games.
That's probably why it fits so much with what you guys are trying to do then.
And I know that most RPGs are technically open world, but this has the mechanics built with open world in mind. Like they started it saying, hey, there's always the possibility that the PCs may say, we don't want to deal with this problem. We're going to jump in a ship and fly away from it. Like it gives the GM resources to kind of like make some of that technological magic issues, but at least get minimized and be folded back into the story in a nice, I guess.
Yeah. Well.
So, while being tech driven, it's not. One of the other big things I love about it is that it's not gear driven in the same way that D&D, Pathfinder, I guess even Starfinder might be.
The 3.5 of D&D.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 3.5. And it's, I mean, it is to a degree, and it is to a degree like class based, but it isn't. So it really allows you to focus on the story, what your characters are doing, but without being as freeform as, say, Fate or some of these other like rules light games. It still has a good amount of crunch. The system, so it. How do I word it? Like my brain is like I have the feeling of what I want to say, but the words aren't there.
Yeah.
It just I don't know, like it allows you to have all the options at the table, and it says here's everything, do with it as you need as a group, but not in the way that GURPS like could be, where it's just like vomiting everything at you, and there's just too much to deal with as a GM, let alone a player. Like way more refined than that. And I was really happy when, again, that I remembered that it even existed, and then that they had a revised edition that's fairly recent. As I said, I downloaded the free version. The paid version, I think, is $20 on drivethrurpg.com. $20 sounds right. And there's 2 main chapters that it has that the free version doesn't. One of them is creating alien worlds, and the other one is on making mecha and doing the whole military, like anywhere from Mech Warrior to Gundam to, I guess, theoretically Gurren Lagann, even if you wanted.
Yours is the D10 that will pierce the heavens. So you think that's what you guys are going to try out? Have we decided yet?
We haven't really. I say we. I don't even know necessarily how much I'm going to be involved in it, because the idea is have like a system where it can revolve GMs. But with that being said, Stars Without Number, if that's something you're looking for, Stars Without Number very much allows you to have that. To the rules, it also has sector generation. And you'll generate anywhere between 20 and 35, star systems within your sector. Go past one of them, or they may go to all 35 of them because they're completionists and have to collect every Ubisoft collectible that's on every planet. To be able to kind of swap GMs and just kind of, oh, we're going here, so this person wants to try out a story, so we'll let them do a story on this planet. Oh, we're going to this planet or this other system. Well, we're going to change out to so-and-so. So I think that it very much allows that and works very well in that mindset.
Gotcha. Sweet. We'll get on to my topic here, I guess. I'm going to talk about Detective Pikachu, which is coming out tomorrow. Now, Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, we got a new Deadpool trailer, which I haven't seen yet. But no, today we're going to have the age-old debate, and it's not going to be much of a debate. I have a feeling. I thought, we've talked about some anime topics throughout the year we've been doing this podcast, but we haven't yet had, and I brought it up a few times, but we haven't yet had the dub versus sub conversation, which is the inevitable conversation everyone has.
I don't think it's as debated as much anymore these days.
Yeah, probably not, but it is a ubiquitous talking point. So, which do you guys prefer? Maybe do you have some favorite examples of both dub and sub that you care to share? And why do you prefer what you prefer?
There and say, usually the one I prefer is the one that I first saw it in. Usually if I'm sitting down to watch something new, I will try to find it in Japanese. Not for any particular reason, I just... Inuyasha. The other day, my wife and I restarted it, and we were watching it in Japanese. And it is so jarring, some of the characters' voices, just because the tonal differences are different enough.
That's how I feel when I hear Dragon Ball.
Exactly, that's another good one, where Goku sounds so much more... not effeminate, but just that kind of...
Feminine.
I guess child...
He is more feminine and high-pitched voice.
Isn't his Japanese voice actor female?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe more childish might be... I know that's what they're trying to go for, is the childish, the innocence that is supposed to be represented by him, but it has a different feel to it. It just plain and simply does. And Inuyasha was kind of the same way. Than the other, but I guess with both of them, it's if you grew up on these anime and then you change style, it's that's not the Goku I grew up with. That's not the Inuyasha I grew up with. You know what I mean? More where my issues come into play, not so much from some...
Tetsuo's got his rose tinted nostalgia goggles on today.
It's that I've gotten to know this person, this character, this human.
Oh no, I understand.
Of this one way, and then suddenly you're telling me they're different, whichever direction you go. Just it's jarring for at least a few episodes, if not half a season. I guess.
So what's some of your favorite, like, I guess, ensembles or voice casts from either or that you've really liked?
I don't know.
Or just not. I mean, not even like like. Just what's some of your like favorite? Just like I every time I watch this, I have to watch the dub. Every time I watch this, I have to watch the sub, just because it's so much better. Maybe.
In Dragon Ball Z, as I said, I have to watch them dubbed, even though
I can't even watch Dragon Ball Z anymore. I've tried to go back and watch it.
I haven't touched Super yet. I know.
Yeah,
it's
I recently tried watching Super.
It's rough.
Very slow.
Yeah.
Supposedly
The best way to watch Dragon Ball Z is on YouTube through
Well,
AMVs.
the whole first, like, what would have been the first core or whatever, the first 13 episodes is just the retelling of the Beerus movie.
Yeah.
Just dragged out.
That I did start dubbed, but I cannot watch it dubbed anymore. I have to watch it subbed. Is the original Gundam, the 1979 Olsu Gundam
Oh god,
series.
old dubs are especially bad.
Are so bad, but modern day, I don't know, that there's not really too much of a quality difference, and so sometimes I think I'm more looking for voice actors that I recognize. Like if it has Steve Blum, Crispin
Freeman.
Strong, yeah, Tara Strong, you know, any of those names. Like I know I'm listing mostly Funimation names at the moment, but
I mean, a lot of the older voices have moved on from anime to like video games. It's not profitable anymore, I don't think, or as much.
Also, just a lot of voice acting is in Austin now or whatever, instead of California, where all the video game voice acting is.
Right.
Like you know, when I hear like what's his name, the one that Obs always fangirls over,
Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, him.
Yes, my husband.
I mean, I will like. So I think it's more just if I see
Simone the Digger.
Yep, Suzaku Kururugi.
Oh god, what is Lelouch's voice actor?
Johnny Young Bosch.
The
second Black Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Say the Power Ranger voice.
They're my favorite combo. Anytime they're in anything together, it's freaking amazing.
In English, that's another series, Code Geass. I watched season 1 in English, season 2 half in English, and then the last half in
I did the
Japanese.
same. I watched the first season in English, and I watched the second season because it wasn't out in English yet. I watched the sub. Both of those are very good, in my opinion.
To me, Lelouch is the English voice. It's not the Japanese voice.
I think his Japanese voice is really good too, though. They're different, though.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, it totally is good. It's just it's not the Lelouch.
Yeah. You had to hear Johnny Young boshing the world or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Kasuga Tensho. What about you, Mal? I think we've mentioned it before, but
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched the sub.
oh wow, never.
I don't think so.
Never.
Not that I can think of.
Oh my god.
No.
Nothing comes to mind.
Well, there's a good reason. You're a multitasker, right?
Yes, I always am doing I'm always like playing a video game and I have TV
That's
on or
a
whatever.
good point.
So that's why I always rely on the dubs, because I'm usually listening to anime more than watching it, unless something really cool is going on at the moment.
And then you're just going, pause the game.
But yeah, these days, I mean, like, the quality I think has just gotten better and better on the dub side. I mean, yeah, the old stuff.
I agree. Yes.
Especially bad, especially if it's like 4 kids or something. Like,
Ugh.
yeah. But like nowadays, like even Funimation is like you're getting simulcasts almost of the sub and dub for like what is it? My Hero Academy.
My Hero has a very good dub.
Yes, and it like comes out like a week after or something, or
Yeah.
the same time as the sub. So like, yeah, it's like you don't even have to wait the years like you used to.
Yep.
And well, and sometimes we get it first. Well, not very often, but like Fooly Cooly. Just the trailer for season 2 and season 3 dropped yesterday, 2 days ago, sometime in the last week. Yeah, and it's actually going to be on Toonami. The dub is, and then Japan's not getting it until later, a while later.
I saw the poster for it, but I didn't even think to see if there's a trailer. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I quite like it, and they got what's her name?
Haru's voice actress.
Yeah, what's her name? She voiced Ariana Highwind from
Ornea.
Yeah.
I don't know the voice actress.
Right. Curry Walgen.
Oh yeah, she's Colin and Code Geass also.
Oh yeah. So that was her very first voice acting role, was in Fooly Cooly, and now she's coming back for the.
I actually watched Fooly Cooly in Japanese. Weirdly enough, I didn't know she was involved in that.
English. Yeah, that's why I didn't.
Yeah, I watched it on Toonami, so Toonami is my introduction to anime, basically.
Yeah, most people's.
Right. At least of our generation.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat. We're getting the dub first, because I think they're also getting them as movies, or sort of, not.
Oh, weird.
As the 6 episodes or
OVAs.
Whatever. Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
But yeah.
So what's like your favorite dub job, maybe?
I mean, Cowboy Bebop's like just one of the best of all time, even for, or like especially for the time it was dubbed in.
Yeah,
everyone
hard
says
to argue
it.
With. I mean, there's a reason.
Yeah,
Steve Blum. It's probably Steve Blum's best like credit role ever, probably.
Yeah, I really like Full Metal Alchemist as well.
Yeah, it's also good.
I think the mangaka, I can't remember, or someone I think really liked Vix Edward, maybe more than the Japanese version.
I really like oh my god, why can't I think of his name? Grog.
Travis Willingham.
Travis Willingham, yes, is Colonel.
Yeah,
Mustang.
that's another name for me.
He's one of my favorite characters.
Going to watch it in English if I see him in it, like.
And also Armstrong's great.
Yeah, Chris Sabat.
Yep.
As far as I haven't watched a lot of recent anime. I think honestly, can't tell you.
Well, this past season, let me tell you, it's been a real series of showstoppers out there. Now it's all about waiting until April when we get Shokugeki no Soma season 3.5. We get season 3 of Hiroaka.
I think the only thing I've watched.
Persona 5 anime
the last
is coming out.
Years.
I'm kind of worried because it's what's their name? Oh, my brain's not working.
Not Production IG. Which
no, I like
feels
Production
like they
IG.
should have gotten them right. They didn't. Didn't they do the animated cutscenes for that?
I think so.
They should just got them to do the anime.
Sword Art Online people, those guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
McDonald's, as I call them.
Not Fariot.
No. Oh my god, why can't I think of their name, dude?
It's something short.
Oh my god, it's gonna kill me. You just keep going.
With what?
What you were saying.
A1 Pictures.
A1 Pictures, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, I can't think of any current new dubs. I mean, Macadamia's dub is great, as we said. So I guess that's that. And I think we're gonna divide up nicely because I think I know your answer to this topic.
I prefer subs. Why I prefer subs is because, one, I think the acting is better in general, and it's just partly because it's a Japanese media performed by Japanese actors. And while I do agree with you, Mal, that dubs have come a long, long, long way, they're way better right now than they were even like 10 years ago. It's kind of crazy how far they've come.
Yeah. Once you've got experienced voice directors.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also, it's another way to kind of get more experience with the Japanese language. Is just another interesting thing.
You weeb.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
What?
There's like
Bob's is a weeb?
Like, when I played Xenoblade, I just cut it on Japanese. I barely had to even read anything, really. And it's kind of, like, cool to just... A lot of the terms they use in anime and stuff you wouldn't ever use in, like, conversational Japanese anyways, but it's just fun to go, like, I know what they're saying. I don't even have to pay attention, really. Oh, she's calling him
like,
a baka or whatever.
Point watching subs, you do start, like, being to the point... Like, maybe you can't fully stop watching it, but for the most part, just listening to their inflections and then picking up on every, I don't know, 6th or 7th word, or even every 10th or 20th, you do still get a picture of what's going on.
You can tell what's going on. So, but I still like dubs and will actually watch them, especially for anime I really, really enjoy. When a dub comes out, I'll go back and watch the dub just to compare it and, like, watch it again, kind of. But it's like kind of my reasoning. Some of my favorite Code Geass, obviously. If you want to talk about old anime, I love Macross's dub, the original Macross. Like, I can't watch the Japanese version of the original Macross. I just can't do it. I have to watch the English one. The one I really like that was Funimation, and here's one I can't watch the sub for. I kind of have this feeling like Tetsuo was saying, where I'm like, these are just the characters in my mind. Is Ouran High School Host Club?
Yes.
Yes.
The dub is very good in Ouran, and it's not as interesting in Japanese, in my opinion.
Like the Japanese is still good, but the characters are wildly, like, the motions are so different in the Japanese than it is in the English.
Like, the twins are just way better in English. They give that more creepy twin vibe kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Berserk is another one that I prefer to watch the dub for. It's another good, like, 90s anime that has a really good dub that was ahead of its time. He'll randomly spotlight Goku's voice actor in it as random, like, background characters.
Sean Shamel or something.
Yeah, Shamel.
He's been in, like, every Yu-Gi-Oh series. And then also, like, when I was rewatching through, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, he was in, like, nearly every episode as a different character.
Yeah. Like, Naruto, I'll go back and, like, when the dubs come out for it, I'll go back and rewatch them when they're not filler, like, eventually. I haven't watched any in a long time because they're in the Shinobi War arc or whatever, and where it's like, we're here for, like, a year and a half. Yeah, in the dub, they're not past that yet. Wow. They're still in the middle of it. They also just come out really slow, so they come out slower. They don't come out in like they release like 10 episodes at once, but it takes like 3 months for them to get like 10 episodes out, whereas you get that in like, you get like 12 or 13 episodes in the Japanese, so it's a little bit slower. And yeah, Yuri Lowenthal is also in that as Sasuke, so I just love Yuri Lowenthal. He doesn't really do a lot of anime anymore, though. He does a lot of video game
they're all
stuff
getting
now.
out to video games.
Yeah. Nor does Johnny Young Bosch, for that matter, who's another one of my favorite voice actors. But, yeah. Coincidentally, I love, as far as Japanese actors, Takahiro Sakurai, who's also Suzaku. Interestingly enough, I think he's like him and Yuri Lowenthal always get like the same characters and everything. I think they were the same person in what's it called, the video game about the MMO Dot Hack.
Oh yeah.
He was Cloud. Yeah, he's Suzaku. Who else was he? He did some Digimon characters too, apparently. He voiced Edward Cullen in the Twilight dub for Japanese.
Huh.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. As far as like not Seiyu. Yeah, Seiyu's a female voice actor, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's gender neutral. It might apply to both. Oh my god, I'm blanking on everyone's names. It's killing me. I always recognize her voice, and I really like her.
What has she done?
She's C2. No, she's not C2. No, it is C2. Yeah, Yukana. She was a Tear in Tales of the Abyss. She was in Amagami, which I watched. Card Captor Sakura. She's in a lot of actually. Oh yeah, she's in Infinite Stratos. God, that show. Forgot about that. She's done a lot of magical girl stuff. It looks like, and she's also like a singer too. So she always like has songs in the show she's in. She'll like sing part of the soundtrack. Yep, she was in Chobits. Okay, Chobits is another very good dub.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah,
back a long time ago.
Who else am I? I think I'm thinking of Yui Horie is who the other voice actress was. Who I often get her confused with. She was Toru in Fruits Basket, Naru in Love Hina. She's been in a lot of
Shoujo?
Well, no, harem actually. She's Chie in Persona 4. She's in Toradora. She's in Golden Tom. She's another one of my favorite voice actresses. She's randomly always like the main girl in like harem stuff. So, but yeah, no, that's more where I like subs because I just feel like I'm getting more immersed in the language, and that's like the best way to learn the language is just to hear people speaking it, in my opinion.
Sure.
So, but I do enjoy dubs too. I just like to meme and shit on people when they say they like dubs. I watch them all the time, so I'm just being a bit of a jerky jerk when I do it. So there you go. All right, this has been episode 47 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment on video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and Talk About Topic day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Check us out on social media. On Twitter, we're at Podcast5R. Facebook, P5R Podcast. Many of them are streaming at twitch.tv/PSOFlow. And we are streaming at twitch.tv/Podcast of Five Rings. Without the number. I've been on a roll here getting these right. Like the past few weeks. I haven't messed up. I had a 10-week stretch where I literally messed up the outro every single time. I got it all cattywampus and stuff. I forced it. Hey. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Bye.